Welcome to the RVCC Tutoring Center. In this video, we'll be going over Chapter 6 for Elementary Algebra, Factoring Polynomials, and Solving Equations. All of these problems can be found on page 430, and the first problem that we're going to do is Exercise 1, which is identify the greatest common factor and then factor the expression. So the problem that we are given is 4x squared y minus 20xy squared plus 12xy. So the highest whole number that we have is 4, since 4 can be factored from each of our whole numbers, or each of our coefficients. Our highest x will just be 1x, because we have 1x in each variable, or each term. And our highest y will be 1 as well, 1y as well, because we have 1y in each term. So our greatest common factor will be 4xy. Now for factoring. We're going to take out 4xy from each of our terms. So we're going to take out 4xy, and then we're going to leave whatever is left over inside the parentheses. So for the first term, we have 4x squared y. What's left over is an x, so that's what gets put in the parentheses. For negative 20xy squared, we're left with negative 5y, and for 12xy, we're left with 3. So our factored equation will be 4xy times, in parentheses, x minus 5y plus 3. For our next two problems, we will be factoring by grouping. These are exercises 3 and 4. So in problem number 3, we're given ay plus by plus az plus bz. So first we're going to group these together. So we're going to group our y terms and then our z terms. And then we're going to take out the common factor in each of those. So for the first group, it's going to be our y, and for the second group, it's going to be our z. Now we're going to rewrite this as y plus z in parentheses times a plus b in parentheses. In problem number 4, it's a similar problem, but now we're dealing with numbers and variables. So we have 3x cubed plus x squared minus 15x minus 5. So again, we're going to group. I'm going to group our 3x cubed plus x squared, and then our negative 15x minus 5. In our first set of terms, or in our first group, the highest common factor is x squared, so we're going to take out an x squared. In our second group, it's going to be negative 5. So what we're left with is x squared times, in parentheses, 3x plus 1, minus 5 times, in parentheses, 3x plus 1. Again, we will rewrite this as x squared minus 5 in parentheses times, in parentheses, 3x plus 1. In the next problem, we'll be solving the equation. So the equation that we're given is y squared is equal to y plus 20. So we're going to want to get all of these terms onto one side to set the equation equal to 0. So we're going to subtract y and subtract 20 from both sides, which gives us y squared minus y minus 20 is equal to 0. Then we're going to want to find our factors of 20 to find out what numbers that we can add together to get to our negative y. Because remember, our two factors that we use in our factored equation, when you add them, they equal to the middle term, and when you multiply them, they're equal to the third term, or the coefficient of the third term and the second term. So our factors of 20 are 1 times 20, 2 times 10, and 4 times 5. So since we know that our third term is a negative, one of our factors has to be negative and the other has to be positive. What that also means is that when we add them together, the bigger number will be the number that is negative, and the smaller number will be the one that's positive, since our second term is negative. So looking at the list, the only combination that works that add up the bigger number as negative and the smaller number as positive, that equal to 1, is 4 times 5. So that's the factor that we will use. Then we can rewrite our equation as y minus 5 times, in parentheses, y plus 4. And remember, so when we add these together, negative 5 and 4, we get negative 1, which is the coefficient of our second term. And then when we multiply those two numbers, we get negative 20. So that's our third term. Okay, so now we need to solve. So for the first solution, we're going to set y minus 5 is equal to 0. So we're going to add 5 to both sides, which gives us y is equal to 5. Our second solution will be y plus 4 is equal to 0. And then we subtract 4 from both sides, which gives us y is equal to negative 4. So the solutions to this equation are 5 and negative 4. So our final problem is problem number 20, and we're given the equation x times x plus minus 5 is equal to 66. So first and foremost, we're going to simplify this expression, get all our terms on the same side. So we're going to distribute our x among the variables in our parentheses, and then we're going to subtract 66 from both sides. This gives us x squared minus 5x minus 66 is equal to 0. So now, similar to the last problem, we're going to want to find the factors of 66, which are 1 times 66, 2 times 33, 3 times 22, and 6 times 11. The factors that we will use are 6 times 11 because, again, the bigger number is going to be negative, and when we add 6 and 11, or negative 11 and 6, we get negative 5, which works. And we already determined that these are factors of 66, so that works as well. So now our factored equation that we get is x minus 11 times x plus 6 is equal to 0. So now we're going to solve by putting each of those parentheses and set them equal to 0. So our first solution will be x minus 11 is equal to 0. We're going to add 11 to both sides, which gives us x is equal to 11. For our second solution, we set x plus 6 is equal to 0. And then we subtract 6 from both sides, which gives us x is equal to negative 6. So the solutions to this problem are 11 and negative 6. And this is the end of the Chapter 6 review.